last night I think we were treated to one of the best Doctor Who stories that's ever been made. I thought Rosa was fantastic. I've liked the whole series so far, and I just think that Rosa kind of sets it apart from what's gone before. This was something a little bit different. We haven't had a story without some kind of alien monster type thing in it for a long time, decades, and we haven't had a historical adventure like this for a long time as well. Quite reminiscent of the Time Meddler in a way, but obviously a very different tone. If you've seen that story, you'll know that that's the case. And of course we had themes of racism, but also the theme of this villain, Krasto, being some kind of fascist who was trying to manipulate the world in small ways, but creating ripples that have a cumulative effect. And this is very much how fascists work in the modern day as well. Really seriously, they try to get as much publicity as they can with little things that they are doing. Tommy Robinson's a fantastic example of that, and very dangerous. And so this was not just about history, it wasn't just about 1955 in America, it was about right now. And overnight we've seen some issues with a racist on a plane, which was handled incredibly badly by Ryanair staff, who basically pandered to him, pandered to the racist rather than dealing with him. And so this dealt with issues which, in a way, I find quite challenging. It's not the kind of stuff we end up talking about after Doctor Who, really, unless it's in a kind of allegorical way. We see the Daleks representing fascism a lot, because that's what they are. That is what they are. But that's one stage removed. This is Doctor Who in the real world, and we don't always see that. Since the programme came back in 2005, we did see kind of real world consequences, but often we saw them through the eyes of the companions, not necessarily directly through history. So it's a slightly different scenario. And like I say, this widens the scope of the series, and we've now seen 3 very different stories. And each of the companions came to the fore in all of those stories in different ways as well. And I thought Ryan's character found that scenario very difficult in Rosa, very tricky. And I've seen a lot of people online talking about how Doctor Who's become too PC and it's pandering to this and it's pandering to that. And I have to say, the rest of the world is just laughing at you people. You are utterly stupid. When you see a drama like that that's set up so brilliantly and really skillfully written by, incidentally, the first time we've ever had a person of colour writing for Doctor Who as well. The world's changing, and you either keep up with this or you don't. And I'm pleased that for this kind of small step that Doctor Who is right involved with that and doing what it can. But it shows you also what Doctor Who can do, what subject matter it can approach, providing you get the tone right, and providing you provide that you come up with an adventure. Doctor Who can go into some extraordinary places, and this is what science fiction's for, isn't it? Really. So I thought it was brilliant, and everything that I've said about the series so far was true in Rosa. The dialogue's been brilliant. The music has been been kind of more in the background, much more incidental music and less overpowering stuff. Doctor Who didn't end with the normal theme at the end. There was a song at the end. Just little things like that. It looks and it feels like a completely new show, and that's one of the beautiful things about Doctor Who, is that it changes every few years and it becomes something slightly different, but it's still doing the same old things. It's still people travelling in time and space and having an adventure. And I thought there was something really powerful also in the end of the story, where basically the world was on the edge of its seat regarding whether someone could make a bus on time, which is quite something for a drama to achieve. I think that final few moments where they realised that they simply couldn't help Rosa on the bus, that it had to be her doing it. That's really tough, that instinct to intervene, that instinct to do the right thing, but knowing that they couldn't. I think that was very powerful as well. That says a lot about how we treat incidents when we come across them as well. So I thought it was really thought-provoking. I just wish the naysayers would shut up, you know. Doctor Who's never done this before, and it did it well. It's cause for celebration, really, and this episode will go down in history as one of the best Doctor Who stories of all time. It's up there. It was fantastic, and so we've had the start of the series. We've had the second episode moving off into the future, and we've had the third episode dealing with elements in the past. And so next week we get the return to Sheffield, and then presumably some decisions as to whether people, the companions, the friends of the Doctor, are going to carry on travelling with her. Let's hope they do, because they're all fantastic characters. Each one of them brings something to the mix. And again, I hate to hark on about this, but what Chris Chibnall has done is he's really looked back at the origins of Doctor Who, and he's made it, you know, he's drawn inspiration, let's say. He's drawn inspiration from that very first 2 or 3 years where you had 4 people in the TARDIS, and the story revolved not just around them, but they got involved with it in various ways. And it shows that you can do good Doctor Who with a lot of people in the TARDIS. Which wasn't always the case. We had a similar situation in the early 80s, and it didn't work quite so well. So I'm just pleased it's really going well, and looking forward to next week with those spiders in Sheffield.